welcome back to the reading vlogs. It is Tuesday today. I filmed Thursday's video, which I'm really happy about. I have the apartment for myself today. Still recovering, still have pain in my knee. Hopefully that will be gone by the end of the week or the beginning of next week. It would be nice, to be honest. I finished, well, I wanted to check in with you, but like it's a manga, so it always reads so fast. It's just weird. I don't think I like it anymore. This is Elfenlied, so Elf Song. I don't know what the English name is, or the original name. Elfenlied is the German name. This is a manga that is 18 plus, because it has a lot of sexual tension and nudity and violence. The main character is a guy, and he meets Lucy, who is like this mutated girl who is like this experiment, and she gets loose, or makes herself loose, and that she kills a lot of people. And she has these like invisible arms which she can just kill stuff, and she switches between this like innocent girl and weapon, more or less. But yeah, I don't enjoy the over-sexualization of literally every female character in this book. I do know that I liked it when I read it the first time, but I'm guessing that it's mostly because I was a hormonal teenager, and you know, this was pretty raunchy for the time. But yeah, I'm like, I don't know, I think it's a 3-star. It's not bad, but it's nothing I would ever buy today, because everybody looks so young in the book, which just feels wrong. God, I have to say that. So yeah, but I reread that. I finished that. It's obviously a quick read. It's like an hour and a half, you know, to read a manga, which is the main reason why I don't buy them anymore, because it's just not worth the money, even though it's like great to look at. It's most of the time I just read too quickly to actually get the enjoyment out of them that I want to get out of them. So, you know. Other plans for today, I did already do like my household tasks and stuff like that, because obviously being still on sick leave, I have a lot more time. The goal now is to finish this. This is a storage basket. I am 1 row out from doing the God, I have a hard time with words today. The handles, the holes for the handles. And then I have a couple of rounds to go around, but the goal is to finish this because I really want to get it done so I can use it. It's a little bit bigger than the last one, but I'm not gonna do it higher. I'm gonna keep it relatively low. So there's just like pretty like wide, but not as high, because I don't need it to be high. And it's hard on my hands, so I'm gonna be happy once it's done and I can actually use it as storage for my fabrics for my sewing, which is the reason I am making this. So that is the goal. Let me give you an update on the cross stitch, at least on the Stardew Valley one. The other one you can't really see the progress. Here you can actually see the progress. This is what I have done so far. The things that aren't filled in with the sign are actually colors I don't have yet. But I'm currently working on the woods that surround Stardew Valley. So we have like this darker green and then this lighter green, which will fill in of the stuff. And then here we have the street that goes into town and out of town. So yeah, I really love this. This gives me a level of satisfaction and happiness that I wouldn't have thought. But yeah, working on this makes me incredibly happy. So I will be doing my best to finish this so I can actually work some more on the cross stitch. But we're gonna focus, hopefully. So yeah, I do still need to pick my next physical read, but I will do that tomorrow, I think, because I won't do any physical reading today. And then I don't know with what romance I will continue today. I have a couple I started, so we'll see with which I will continue, and then I will check in with you once I either finished one of the romances or like at least chosen one to read. Okay, I haven't checked in with you in like 2 days, mostly because of how shitty my physical read has been going. Let's talk about the reading. It has been really mixed. Let's start with the 2 short stories by Lovecraft this week. The first one is The Tomb, which I like really well. It's about a guy who lives in this like estate, and there's like this tomb on the property, and he believes in ghosts and seeing things there, and that gets him into a little bit of trouble at the end of the short story. And I really like that one. It has a really cool ending for someone being able to see ghosts kind of story. And then we have the next one, which I don't really get, to be honest, which is called The Dagon, which is a guy who is stranded on a boat and he sees things, and the story is kind of like told in retrospect, because he's like, oh, I don't want to live anymore because of what he's seen, and he tries to drown it out with morphine, but it isn't working anymore, and so yeah, but I don't know. That one really wasn't one of my favorites, to be honest. But yeah, that means I now have the first 4 stories read, which is barely nothing. But that is fine, because I do think it's setting good pace with the book. The physical read that I actually DNF'd is Jadefire Gold. I don't think I even checked in with you once with this book. I just don't enjoy the writing style. I can't even tell you anything about the characters. I didn't get in far enough. I had to force myself to read a couple of pages, and then I was like, okay, just take a break, read a couple more later. I feel really bad for DNFing this with the like bare minimum amount that I read from it, but I just cannot get into the writing style for whatever reason. It's just not working for me, which had me really frustrated the last 2 days. Which, is my own fault. I could have just DNF'd it straight from the beginning, but I still always feel bad DNFing books too quickly. But yeah, I'm gonna have to DNF it, because this is making me really unhappy, and that is not what reading is about. So yeah, we're gonna DNF that, and it can go to like a new home with somebody who will hopefully appreciate the book, but that is not me. And then I am currently reading a rather interesting romance, which I'm really enjoying the romance. Let me look what it's called, because I can never remember. Oh, I also finished one. Let's talk about the finished one first, which is Changing the Plane, which is about a football player. Does he play football? I think so. Yeah, he plays football. And he is failing one of his classes, history, which he can't seem to figure out how to effectively learn for it. And so his professor recommends him his son, Darcy, and it's pretty much a setup of your like jock and the nerd, and then the nerd tutoring the jock, but with the added twist that actually Weston, our football player, is like the sweetest guy around, and he's actually really smart and wants to become an English teacher, and Darcy, the nerd, is actually pretty like out there, and he has a healthy dose of self-esteem, and he isn't like the the cowering nerd that is afraid of everybody. He just he has his priorities, and he wants to become a history teacher just like his dad is, at university. So it is set in university, and both are so sweet. Like, both main characters are really sweet, and they slowly fall for each other during tutoring, and Weston teaches Darcy about football, and Darcy figures out how to effectively teach Weston history so that he actually gets good grades in his history class and doesn't lose his scholarship, and it's really sweet. I really enjoyed that one. And then the one I'm currently reading is called Protecting the Nerd, but which is called part 4 of the Forest Will Silver Foxes series. Though in this one there is like a small age gap, but both characters are in their 40s, so it's really like a non-existent age gap. And we have the nerd, who is just like somebody, like he's just really smart. And he works for a company who does like security systems and works for the government and stuff like that. And he designed like this really fancy complex system, and that has put a target on his back. And so he's actually being targeted by like a terrorist organization, and our bodyguard comes in and is assigned as his bodyguard and has to play his boyfriend. So it is also a fake boyfriend, like it is a bodyguard fake boyfriend story. And so they go back to his hometown, which is Forestville, and they have to pretend to be a couple and keep him safe. I do know that there will be a kidnapping scene. I don't know why, but like every bodyguard book I've read so far had like a kidnapping scene. They are starting to get old, but you know, we're dealing with it once I come to it, because I'm not there at the moment yet. Our bodyguard is gay, and I think our main character just never had a relationship because he's not really socially awkward. I would just more say he doesn't really understand social interactions, and he was actually really bullied by his brother, who was in the Marines with a bodyguard together, but like only for a short time, and who actually died pretty young, and his parents aren't over it, and they pretty much treat our main character really horribly, and they never believed him that his brother was like really, really horrible to him. And yeah, that will be part of the story at some point, because right now our bodyguard doesn't know that, which the bodyguard is called Quillian. I've forgotten the name of the nerd right now. But yeah, it's really interesting and really good. It is really slow in the beginning, but they have kissed once to like try and make a better couple. And yeah, our bodyguard likes to cook and is just a really sweet guy, and our nerd is also a really sweet guy. So yeah, that is what I'm reading so far. Today. Well, I started it yesterday, but I'm like, I think like 30% in or something like that. So yeah, that is the reading. I finished my crochet basket. I will have to insert like a little clip here because it's already in use for my fabric stash, where like I put all of my leftover fabrics from other projects in, and I'm using the leftover yarn to make me another project bag. So this is how far I've come. Which it is slow going because this yarn is pretty tangled and I'm untangling it as I go along, so this is taking some time. I also got a new yarn order, which I promised myself I wouldn't order new yarn, but they had a pretty great sale. And so I've gotten myself some cotton to try out in this color and in this color to make some flower garlands as decoration for my room here, because I feel like crafting some decorations. And then I also got myself some black merino yarn to make myself a cardigan, because I have 2 black cardigans now. I don't like them. They have different things that don't work out for me in the long run. I still wear them, but they aren't like the perfect cardigan. So we're gonna give it another try with like a made-up pattern of my own. And then somewhere in here I also have some black linen and cotton yarn to make myself a summer throwover that I'm also doing like my own pattern for, because I'm now having enough like experience with like patterns and what I like and what I'm knitting and crocheting that I can slowly transition into making my own things without buying patterns for it, which is really exciting for myself, to be honest. So yeah, those are the updates so far. I also continued with my cross stitch project, but I do think that you really can't see the change from the last time I showed you. But yeah, it is slow going, but I really enjoy the project. So yeah, that is all of the updates. I am sorry that I didn't check in with you the last 2 days, but yeah, I was really frustrated with my reading, and sometimes I get in my head with that, so it is what it is. I will pick a new physical read tomorrow that I will hopefully enjoy a whole lot more, and yeah, I will see you then. And hopefully with a good ending to the romance book, because hopefully I will love the rest of it just as much as I enjoy the beginning. We are getting into the way too warm territory again, so excuse the sweaty look I'm rocking today. First things first, I fixed my hair. Finally. It's so funny, Okay, somebody rang the doorbell. What I talked to my partner about was that I love the way the color looks when it's washed out, but I always forget how great it looks when it's freshly dyed, because I absolutely love this color on me. And yeah, I'm super happy that I finally managed to actually bleach and color my hair today. Yeah, next thing. Reading has been a real disappointment this week. The romance I read yesterday, I gave it 3 stars, but it was just so average. It was like there was nothing standing out. Like, I liked the characters, but the plot was really, really average. Like, there was nothing that was surprising in the plot at all. And then the characters were nice, but that was about it, kind of. And yeah, I don't know. I didn't feel it, you know. It was fine having finished it, but like I didn't feel it at all. And then yeah, I also didn't pick up a next physical read today because I thought maybe I just need like 2 days of like no reading, maybe just like a little bit of a reset. So yeah, I've decided I will just pick the next book up on Monday and just give myself like a 2-day breather. Okay, there was another. The doorbell rang again. Where was I? Oh yeah, so I didn't read anything. What I did do instead is I continued my crocheting my project bag, which I'm pretty finished. I have like 1 row left, and then I only need to do. So yeah, I was really productive with that, and my hands hurt a little bit, but yeah, I'm super happy with that. This is for my Stardew Valley project, as like a bag where I can store all of the thread and then also the canvas I'm stitching on. And then, other than that, I went shopping. I actually paid off my student loans at the beginning of this month. I am one of the few Germans that took out a student loan, mostly because I wanted to move as far away from family and my school and everything as I could. So I moved a couple of states away, and obviously that had to be financed somehow, and my parents couldn't do that, so I had to take a loan out, and I paid it off this month. I paid it off in like roughly 3 years, and before that I did like minimums, and then once I had a good job I paid it off in 3 years. But I did want to like celebrate that I did that, and I don't have anything I have to pay off anymore. Like, I obviously don't have any credit card debt. I would never do that, to be honest. So that was the only thing I had to pay off, and so I did go out and buy myself a new Lego set that I really wanted to have, and that came out I think this month. Which is the Triceratops from the Jurassic Park line, and we have the T-Rex upstairs. And I really wanted to have this, so I went out like an hour ago and got this. So that is what I will be doing the rest of the day, and maybe I will just pop in a picture of the finished set for you, because I will definitely finish that today, which is super exciting. But yeah, that is all for this week. A really kind of frustrating reading week, I have to say, but you know, it's gonna get better next week, hopefully. Also, I'm gonna go back to work next week, which means less time reading, but maybe that's a good thing at the current state of my reading. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this week's vlog, even though it was kind of a bust on the reading front. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Maybe tell me how your week of reading went, and if it went better than mine. Hopefully it did, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and bye bye.